Thank you very much. Thank you. And hello.
Well, you may hear traffic behind me, you may hear some noise, but I'll do my best here, folks. I, in a place of great reverence right now, I am at Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee, on Elvis Presley Boulevard. As I walk down the wall of tribute, the front wall at Graceland, Elvis's home for so many years, you can see the love, the tributes, the people expressing their appreciation for Elvis, his music, his charity, his generosity, his great soul and spirit. The King lives forever. I have never been so moved and touched by my visit to Graceland this week. I will try to put together a video for you showing some pictures and speaking about my experience. But I wanted to capture this years of people paying tribute to him on the wall outside his home. I'm approaching the gates of Graceland as I speed up my walking a little bit for you. And there, on the light of the sun rising, you can see the King's home, Graceland, and the long driveway up. And you'll see other images in this video of Graceland taken by me. How many times did Elvis Presley come in and out of these gates at Graceland? Gates are now open. His beautiful home is in the background. And I am here. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here at the home of Elvis Presley on Elvis Presley Boulevard, Graceland. I hope you enjoy this video today. I'll do my best to capture what I can. Love you all. Love you, Elvis. Bye for now. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Matthew Street channel. I truly appreciate you being here, and I hope you enjoyed that little quick intro to kind of give you a setup for what this video is about, as if you didn't know. But part of my Tennessee odyssey with Mrs. Street to go on our trip to Nashville and Memphis, the pinnacle, the crown jewel of the trip for me anyway, personally, was to get to Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee, to see the home, to see the museums and the displays of the greatest, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. And folks, Graceland did not disappoint. It's the highlight of the trip. I hope you'll sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of this video. Now, I don't have a lot of video to show you because basically there were areas that were kind of off limits to video shooting and flash photography. However, you could take regular pictures without flash and no video. So I'm going to talk about our experience mainly, show you a few videos, maybe towards the end, or I'll stick a couple in the middle here. But basically, I'm going to tell you the story of our trip to Graceland and show a lot of pictures right over here so you'll be able to see what we did and what we experienced. Now, getting to Graceland was so, how do I say it? It was just so cathartic for me, so life-changing. It brought it all home for me. I've been a fan of Elvis since 1968 when I saw the 68 comeback special at my uncle and aunt's house in Providence, Rhode Island. And when I saw that special, I became hooked. And although the Beatles, like I've always said, are always been my number one group of all time, if I had to pick a singer, a solo artist, it's Elvis Presley. He's my number one. And I have been a fan since, like I said, day one, going back to that 68 comeback special at my aunt and uncle's house. It grabbed me. Elvis grabbed me, his music grabbed me, and I've never looked back. Now, to start out with this video, let me just say we hit Marlo's. When we first got to the Memphis area, we went right to Marlo's, which is the famous smokehouse barbecue restaurant. I forget exactly what it was called when Elvis was still alive, but he used to go there and drive around the back to the back window and get takeout and stuff at this restaurant. So Marlo's is very famous, well known. It's a wonderful place. I'll show you some images of it. Maybe I'll stick in a video here and there. Maybe I'll stick in a video right now. Here's Marlo's. My ride is here. I know. Well, everybody, I had to turn down the actual video volume here a little bit because they were playing some music in the background pretty loudly in the gift shop here at Marlo's, and so I don't want to get flagged for that. So basically, right to the right as you enter Marlo's restaurant, which is a cool little smokehouse barbecue restaurant, they had a nice little gift shop. I got to give them a lot of credit. It was very small and tiny, but they packed a big punch. All kinds of Elvis mugs, glasses, souvenirs, you name it. They really packed it in this little gift shop. Look at even Christmas stockings or Christmas ornaments. Up top there, you have the different figurines, which are rare and hard to find. T-shirts, magnets, keychains, glasses, shot glasses, pint cups, everything. It was here. Children's clothing, hats. I had to be careful because I knew what was to come soon. DVDs, CDs, vinyl, but great place. Okay, so Marlo's was so cool. They had great food there. They had a great little gift shop there, as you could see. It was just such a fun place, and I absolutely loved it. Now, when we got up the next morning, we wanted to be one of the first to get to the Graceland visitor center where all the museums and all the displays are to take our tour. We did the VIP tour. I went top of the line, folks. I said, what the heck, you only live once. I spent a few extra bucks, but I got the VIP experience. So we wanted to be one of the first there. We booked ourselves to be the first tour of the day. So we got there early. So here's my arrival to the visitor center and getting ready to go on the tour. Enjoy. Well, I've made it. I have walked for 1,400 miles in my Sketcher sneakers to get to the rock and roll mecca, the rock and roll heaven of Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm walking up to the visitor center and museum right now where we have to check in and get our tickets, and then it's across the street to the glory of Graceland Mansion and beyond. I'm so excited about this. I'm here with Mrs. Street. She doesn't want to go on camera because she's dressed up in an Elvis jumpsuit right now with Elvis sunglasses. And I'm dressed up as Priscilla. No, I'm just kidding. We're not dressed up. We're just going to have fun and see the Elvis Museum. Here's a wonderful entrance. We're one of the first people here. Look, there's only like 5 people ahead of us. Here we come. Welcome to Graceland. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little quick arrival to the visitor center and whatnot. So I could not wait to get on this tour. I was just so beside myself to get on this tour. So I did one quick video when we got to the front of Graceland. That was the last point where I could take some video. So let me show you that right now of me a few seconds in front of Elvis's home at Graceland.
I sure will. You want me to do it with your phone? We gotta get one of Julie too. All right, honey.
Wait.
Listen to me just one second, okay? Yeah. You stay in right here. Well, these folks from Massachusetts.
Sun was rising, and I was able to get a couple of great pictures of the sun rising just behind Elvis's home at Graceland, and I'll show you those here as I'm speaking. A couple of beautiful images that I couldn't have planned any better to have that sun peeking over the top of Elvis's home. So now we're getting ready to go inside the home for the tour. We were the first tour of the day. There was myself and Mrs. Street and 6 other visitors who were from Australia. So they traveled a long way to be to Graceland. We had a great tour guide by the name of John, who was in his mid-70s, but he was a crackerjack. He had worked there for many, many years. He was a mega Elvis fan, and he gave us all kinds of details and tidbits about Elvis and his home, which blew me away. He was unbelievable. So John, don't know your last name, but you were the greatest tour guide ever. And he had an assistant who was learning how to be a tour guide that day, kind of shadowing him, named Christy. So that was great, and she was wonderful too. So we get into the entryway of Graceland, and the first thing you do when you turn to your right is you see the beautiful living room with the peacock stained glass windows, and you look a little further down, you see the piano room. What a beautiful first impression of Graceland these 2 rooms are. It has like the 20-foot couch that was custom made, not in several pieces, one big like 20-foot couch, white couch that Elvis personally had custom made. I don't know how they got this thing in there, but they did. The beautiful piano down the end where Elvis played many songs on. The television, it's like a white frame television down the end. Absolutely beautiful, and I just couldn't believe it. And you're in the main foyer of the home, and you see the staircase, and with Elvis's picture on the right to your left at the staircase, and you know where those stairs lead up to Elvis's private quarters, where his master bedroom was, the bathroom where he went in to read that night, late, early that next morning, and passed away. Lisa Marie's bedroom is up there. Elvis's office is up there, but it's blocked off to the public. You cannot go up that staircase to Elvis's private quarters, and I understand why, and the logistics of it would be very difficult as well, so you're not able to do that. But the foyer is beautiful. The stairwell up there is just absolutely beautiful. There's just down to the right of the stairwell is a little guest room off to the right, which is, the motif is kind of a purple and lavender theme. I thought he said one of Elvis's relatives, might have been the grandmother, that was her private area before she passed away. I'm not too sure, but I'll show you an image of that guest room. Then, as you're in the foyer and we continue the tour to our left, we go into the dining room. Beautiful dining room with that 70s motif around the time when Elvis passed away. It's still the same as it was. They say Lisa Marie used to run around the big dining room table and play with toys, and I think he said that she dropped a toy once and it cracked one of the floor tiles, and it's still cracked to this day. So John told us about that. Then you go down a small hallway into the kitchen area, which is a very 70s style, but for the time Elvis had all the modern appliances. He had one of the first microwaves, which cost like $1 gazillion back then, but he did have one of the early microwaves, and I thought that was pretty cool. I'll show you a couple of images. I didn't take too many of the kitchen. We weren't allowed to walk into the kitchen. It was roped off, but we could take some images of that area. Very modest kitchen when you see it, but that's where Elvis, all his meals were made for him and prepared, and just a wonderful to say that I was, you're going to hear me say that, folks, I was just so blown away that I was in Elvis's personal home a home he loved and cherished so much. And I was standing, and I was in the areas where Elvis lived and breathed and just lived his life. It just made me so humbled to be there in his home. So we did see the kitchen area. When you walk through the kitchen area, you come to a landing, which is carpeted and goes down a couple of steps into the jungle room. And that's where Elvis recorded a lot of his final music, in that jungle room in 1976. And I believe in early 77. I could be off. You Elvis experts correct me. But the jungle room was one of my favorite areas of the home to see, because that landing where I was standing, and I'm about the same height as Elvis. I'm about 6'1.5". When I was younger, I might have been 6'2", but I've shrunk as I've gotten older. But I'm about Elvis's height now, okay? And Elvis was 6'1". And as I stood there knowing, John said to us, right where you're standing, Matthew, he said, Elvis did his vocals on this landing going down into the jungle room. He said Ronnie Tutt was set up over by the waterfall on the far left wall. So-and-so was here, so-and-so was there. The RCA truck, which was a big red truck, was set up behind the jungle room with wires running in. But Elvis's microphone, where he stood looking out on the landing over all his musicians in the jungle room, Elvis was standing right here with his microphone. And that just knocked me out. For the Heart, Way Down, Moody Blue. I could go on all those songs that were recorded in the jungle room, and I was standing right on the spot where Elvis recorded them. It just hit me emotionally, folks. It was just a wonderful moment to know that that's where he did the vocals of his final songs. But then you go down, you turn a little bit to your right, and there's some stairs right off that landing where the jungle room is. I'll show you the staircase here. That's where you go down into the man cave basement level, okay? The man cave is down there. It has that yellow and white theme to it. There's a wet bar where they say Lisa and her friends would drink sodas and have ice cream sodas made for them. There's a little projection window where they would set up film, and Elvis could watch movies and other things on a big screen that came down in the man cave, and you could see the screen folded up when I was there, but the big screen is still there. Of course, it's got everything you could need there. The 3-color TVs that Elvis had before him that he saw in President Johnson's White House, and he wanted 3 TVs like that because he liked to watch football and have all the different networks on. There wasn't 200 channels back then, folks. You had ABC, NBC, CBS, and if you were lucky, UHF or something. But Elvis had all the main channels on his 3-color TVs. After you leave that little room there, you walk across the basement past the wet bar, and you go into the pool room where the pool table is. And I don't know how many hundreds of yards of material and cloth that John, our tour guide, said had to be used to make the ceiling and the walls of this pool room. It's all layered with cloth and material. I'll show you an image of it, but it's unbelievable. From there, we left and went up some stairs again, and you could see the jungle room off to your right, and we went out into the backyard. Now, the backyard was beautiful, beautiful. First thing you see is Lisa's swing set, and I'm going to show you an image coming up of where Elvis did some target shooting in a little back, smokehouse room. But I guess from up on his balcony on the second floor, him and his buddies used to sometimes do distance target practice into the doorway of this target room where the target was and all this wood was to absorb the bullets and stuff. And if you'll notice on the swing set in the lower left corner of the image I show, there's a .45 caliber bullet hole in the slide that Lisa Marie used to slide down. Not while she was there playing, obviously, but I guess they were doing some target shooting from up in this balcony, and a stray bullet from either Elvis or one of his buddies hit the slide, and you can still see the hole in it to this day in Lisa's swing set. So that was kind of unique. Then we went back to an area where Vernon's office space was. Very interesting. You could not go up into it, but you could see it, and I took a couple of pictures of Vernon's office space, the business office area, so to speak. And then, as I said, then we got into the mock-up area of Elvis's shotgun shack. You could see the little house in Tupelo, Mississippi, a miniature of it. Saw that, and then right next to that was where his birthplace in Tupelo. Right next to that was where the target shooting room was, with a a big like telephone poles all strapped together with a target on it, and you can see the bullet holes everywhere. I'll try to show her an image of that. That was this rear building where this target shooting area was in Elvis's backyard. But I was really taken by Elvis's backyard when we left that area and really could get a view of the backyard. What a beautiful area. Just pastoral, a lot of white fences and stuff for the corrals, numerous horse corrals. You had the horse stables in the back. To think that this is where Elvis and his buddies played football, had those touch football games where he and Priscilla were riding their horses together, where they were having numerous gatherings and family get-togethers. He used to ride his go-karts, I guess, in the backyard, rode the horses, as I said, and it still looks the same as it did in a lot of the videos you see. And there were still some horses there, believe it or not. There's still some horses in Elvis's backyard area. Obviously, they're newer horses, but they're still there. And it gives you an awful cool feeling to know that this is what it looked like when Elvis was alive. Then you go into a building which is almost, as you're facing Graceland, back to the right behind Graceland, which used to be a big building where Elvis apparently had a giant slot car racetrack, a toy race car track, which went for like, I don't know how many feet, but the thing was huge. The room was a big recreation room where they used to play slot cars back there and other stuff. And now it's become a museum building where they keep some museum pieces, like photos, various awards from Elvis. I'll try to show a few here. Personal effects of the family tree, pictures of Elvis when he was a baby with his mom and dad, paintings, Elvis's police badges that he collected are back here in this room. A lot of his police patches, some of his weapons, his guns are back in this room. It was a really cool room. I took some images I'll try to show you. Very heartwarming to see some of these awards and things Elvis received, paintings that others did of him. Real nice. We then went to the pool area, which is just off of that. And the pool area is cool because there are videos out there of Elvis and Priscilla swimming in the pool, taking dives off the diving board, family gatherings with friends back there. It still looks the same as it did. So I'll show you an image of the pool area as well. From there, we then walked down just behind Graceland to the right as you're facing Graceland. And that's Elvis's recreation building that he had built later in the 70s. It has a full racquetball court in it. It has a workout equipment area. It has a pinball machine. And then it has a nice little den sitting area with a piano, a stand-up piano. And I got to tell you, John told an emotional story at this point to all of us. He said, this is where on the final night Elvis had his last activity and sang his final songs. And we're standing right there in the racquetball room. He said after Elvis, about 10 o'clock that night, Elvis went out and had a filling done or something at his dentist, his nearby dentist. They used to open the dentist, I guess, for him. You know, it's Elvis. Late at night, open the dentist office. So he had a filling worked on or something. And when he drove back in his black Lincoln Continental, there was a final image of Elvis. You can look for it online. If I can, I'll try to put it here. Where he's driving in from that dentist appointment, and a fan takes an image of Elvis driving back in from the dentist, and he's waving to the crowd. If I can, I'll show it. From there, he went in, got settled, and then he went back to the racquetball room where I was standing, and he played some racquetball for a little while, worked up a sweat and whatnot, and then he sat down at the piano. And the way John tells the story brought a tear to my eye, folks. Got me emotional. He said Elvis sat at that piano. He played Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. He played Unchained Melody, and he played How Great Thou Art. After that, he retired to his upstairs private quarters at Graceland. He settled in his bedroom and whatnot, and he told his then girlfriend Ginger that he was going to go to the bathroom. And it wasn't just a bathroom. Elvis's bathroom was like had a seating area and, you know, probably had a TV and everything. He was going in there to read, he told Ginger. And that's when the next day, when Ginger noticed he hadn't come to bed, she went to check on him and found him unresponsive. And we know history from there. And the way John told that story, and that we were standing right in that spot where Elvis played those final 3 songs. And then from there, he said to us, and now follow me, we're going to go up to the meditation garden. It hits you, folks. It just hits you of what a loss it was to lose Elvis at such a young age. So when we get to the meditation garden, I'll show you some images I took, and what a beautiful, peaceful place it is. The original Presley headstone that was erected for Gladys over at the cemetery that's a few miles down the street, that has been moved to the meditation garden now. I'll show you an image of it. Beautiful, beautiful Presley headstone. And then in the meditation garden itself, there is a memorial to Jesse Garin Presley, Elvis's twin brother who died at birth. Gladys is laid to rest there, Elvis's mom. His dad, Vernon, is laid to rest there. Minnie Mae Presley, who is, I believe, Vernon's mother, Elvis's grandmother, is laid to rest there. And then across from Elvis in the meditation garden is Lisa Marie Presley, and Elvis's grandson, Lisa's son, Benjamin Keogh, is laid to rest there. I'll show you that. And then, of course, with the eternal flame right in front of his memorial, his grave, is Elvis Aaron Presley. Beautiful, beautiful, tranquil place to spend some time at, folks, and I did. As part of the VIP tour, after we were done in the meditation garden, we went to an extra artifact room where we were allowed to see some photos, more of Elvis's weapons and guns, some of his police badges that are not allowed in the regular tour, but we as VIPs were allowed to go to this extra room. I'll show you a couple of images of that. And then we got to go to a bonus VIP room just for people that, I guess, spent the money that I spent to get the VIP experience. The bonus VIP room is very exclusive. You sit down and there's a locked case in front of you, and John opened it up with a special key. We all had to put on white gloves, and then we were allowed to see special memorabilia of Elvis's and hold some of it. So I got to see his Johnny Cash 45, personal 45 of Johnny Cash that he had, awards that he had earned, presentations, trophies he had received. We got to hold his badge that he received from President Richard Nixon, the DEA drug badge. I'll show you an image of that. We got to see that and hold it. And the special thing for me, though, was Elvis had a personal copy of the Beatles' Please Please Me album on VJ. And that vinyl, not the cover, but the vinyl is encased in plastic, and I took an image of that. Elvis did own the Please Please Me album. He owned Abbey Road, among others, but we were allowed to see and hold the Please Please Me album, personally owned by Elvis Presley. Extra special for me, though, was when, and I have an image of me holding it, the pendant that Elvis wore during the Aloha from Hawaii concert. You know, that necklace he's wearing, it's like oblong, rectangular, and it says Elvis on it. I'll show a close-up of it here. I was allowed to hold the exact pendant that Elvis Presley wore at Aloha from Hawaii in 1973. Wow, what a moment for me, folks. What a moment. I'll show you that image. It's hitting me now a little bit emotionally, folks, because this was such a wonderful, wonderful journey. From there, John took us over to the Elvis Presley Center across the street, where he went through and gave us details about the gift shops, where they were all located, all the food eating establishments. As VIPs, we received a complimentary lunch at Vernon's Smokehouse, so Mr. Street and I partook in that. We also got to see all the awards room, where Elvis's gold, platinum, silver awards were on this gigantic, like 30-foot wall. John explained all of that to us. We got to go in where Elvis's cars, his fleet of cars, were located. I don't think I have too many images of that, but we got to see that. But I will show you some images of Elvis's jumpsuits and special outfits he wore for like the 68 comeback special that he wore in 1970 in Vegas, his Vegas performance on the Elvis That's the Way It Is movie. We got to see all his jumpsuits from all eras. I think there's like I thought they said it was like 100 or so, 90 something or 100 jumpsuits total that Elvis had. And this museum has like 88 of them. So they have the majority of all Elvis's jumpsuits, certainly the famous one from Aloha from Hawaii, the American Eagle one. I'll take an image of that. And also his final jumpsuit, his Mexican sundial jumpsuit, where he wore near the end of his career and end of his life. So the museum areas were wonderful. Seeing the Graceland gates, all that stuff. It was absolutely wonderful, folks. I don't want to go on too long here. I just want to say that I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a sense of the love that and wonderful music Elvis brought to us and to the world. And we miss him every day. He's been gone so many years now, and yet when you think back to what he gave to us in his short 42 years of life, it could never be replaced, folks. He's the greatest entertainer of all time, the greatest solo musical artist of all time, if not of all time. And I just want to say I am humbled and touched and honored that I had the opportunity to walk in his footsteps in Graceland, to be in his personal home, his space, and to experience it. It's a life-changing moment, folks. It's just life-altering. And if you're a fan of music and rock and roll, you need to put it on your bucket list to try to get to Graceland and see Graceland, his home, to see the grounds, to see the meditation garden where he's buried, and across the street where the Elvis Visitor Center is, where it has all Elvis. Anything you could want to see. It's huge. I don't know how many thousands of square footage it is, but it's gigantic. It's wonderful. It's like Elvis Disneyland. That's what it felt like to me. So, folks, thanks for being here. I've gone 20 minutes or more now just yapping here, plus my other footage and stuff, and I want to get this out to you. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed this final Elvis and Tennessee Journey Odyssey video with me, Matthew Street. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll be back soon with another video, I promise.